Hey friends, in today's video, we're going to talk about if you need a niche and what you can do to find your niche in business. So my name is Sarah Mae Ives and I have a successful advertising agency where we run some really wonderful campaigns for clients with their advertising. I'm also extremely passionate about teaching women about starting their own advertising businesses. So you can learn more about how I started my own advertising agency in 7 steps. Link my free guide in the description below. So I'm so thrilled to have you here with me today. Now let's talk about a niche in business. What is a niche in business? A niche is a particular type of person that can be rewarded or get value from your product or service, whatever it is that you are selling. Now, one of the most classic mistakes in business is to not have a very clear picture of who you can actually help. Because let's face it, as a business owner, you cannot help everyone. If you're trying to help everyone, you will really end up helping no one because people will not be able to recognize exactly what you do and who you help and if it's relevant to them. I would also make the super strong argument that with the way advertising for businesses is moving to a much more social way, so for example, ads on Facebook, ads on Instagram, the success of your advertising campaigns is directly related to the effectiveness of your message and your ability to speak specifically to a very particular type of person. So if you take my program, for example, I teach women who are often moms or at least family-centered women, caring for their family, really family values, people starting their own business from home that gets paid proportionately, helping other people. Those are the women that I specifically help, and the story that I tell in my marketing and the things that I talk about specifically draw that very specific avatar into my world and into my advertising and therefore into my business. And when I use the word avatar, it's another kind of fancy word for niche, which is your specific target market, the people you want to help. Interesting thing about a niche is that you won't only get people from your niche. So for example, I talk a lot about being a mom and starting a business as a mom and profitability and helping people, but I would be lying to you if I said that only mothers bought my program. That is not entirely true. In fact, I have many women in my program that maybe aren't mothers yet, or maybe they're not planning to be, but they identified with me and wanted to work with me. And that's likewise for gender as well. I obviously have a lot of women-focused themes in my content, but that doesn't mean that I haven't helped a lot of men to have more successful businesses and to get where they needed to go. So I also want to say that a lot of times people worry a niche will be too limiting, but you will still attract people as well. So when I started running ads, one of the first major lessons that I learned for running ads for other businesses, because I've seen many businesses succeed and I've seen many businesses fail. And I can sometimes do the very best ad strategies in the world, the ad strategies that are being used for people like New York Times bestsellers, etc. But if the client is selling something that doesn't resonate with people, we won't be able to make sales. We only have so much control with advertising. You know, if we could advertise anything and sell it, then everybody would be making money. But as Denise Duffield Thomas says, you can't take poop, roll it in glitter, and then expect to make money on that. You can't do it. You can have the perfect setup, and if it's not a valued product that is relevant to someone, you won't be able to make money. This is why a niche is so important, because a niche really allows us to connect with the ideal type of person for our service or program, etc. And what I have seen over and over again by running ads for successful entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs that didn't succeed is that the people that succeeded had a niche. They were laser clear on who they were helping. They were also laser clear on the struggles that their people were going through. One of the most important parts of an effective marketing campaign is knowing exactly what your ideal client is struggling with. Because if you don't know what they're struggling with, then you don't really know that your solution is the right solution for them. So by knowing the avatar this well, by knowing those wake up in the morning problems, that's another common marketing principle is what is your client thinking about when they wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning and they can't fall back asleep? Is it because they can't get more clients? Is it because they can't find their dream partner? partner. Whatever those worries are, you need to know what they are, and you need to tailor your marketing, your advertising, and your product to speak to those particular problems. The clients who have been more successful have hands down known who they are serving, what they're struggling with, and the solution that they need to make them successful. The clients that we've struggled with a little more are typically the type of clients who say, I help everybody. My product helps everybody. Anyone who takes it would love it. Maybe there's an element of truth to the fact that you can help multiple types of people, but the reality is if you don't zone down to help one person, you're not going to be able to help anyone at all. And I've worked with some clients that were coachable, and when I gave them this advice, they listened and then experienced success. But there's been some clients that wanted me to run their ads, and they were just really stuck on wanting to help multiple people all over the world every day forever, and they experienced more problems. Even if you want to take an example of an industry giant like Tony Robbins, I mean, he's been around since the 80s, right? When he wrote his first book, Awakening the Giant Within, I think that was one of his first books, and then he experienced a really high level of success. Well, in early 2000s, I heard the story that he had started to plateau and he needed to plan his next move in business. And what was that? His next move, he decided to niche down to help business owners specifically. So not just anyone on the planet, but he started developing and speaking about messaging that spoke directly to business owners. And then Tony has subsequently gone on to make even more of a massive impact than he made in the 80s and the 90s. So that's just to demonstrate to you that even those so-called industry leaders, they absolutely have a niche, and that has absolutely helped them to be successful. How do you find your niche? A great way to look kind of broadly at who you can help, especially if you're the face of your brand, your personality is the person that's selling the stuff. Your ideal avatar is you just a few years ago. Basically you before you were able to overcome whatever objection it is that you have. Take me, for example. I have a very specific program that helps women start advertising businesses. One of my major core brand stories is my struggle with business and just how hard it was to find a business that was truly valued, profitable, helped people, and gave me enough money to have the freedom and impact I really desired. Because of this, my ideal avatar is really me 4 years ago. It was me 5, 7, 8 years ago. A lot of times we don't actually have to look that far to figure out who is my ideal avatar, who should I help? Well, it makes the most sense to look deep and think, who was I? Why did I create this product? Why did I get passionate about this dating course or this business course? Oh, because of the experiences that I went through. So oftentimes our ideal avatar is who we were just a short time ago before we were able to figure it out, so to speak. Now, this also works very well for positioning and authority with your brand, because then you'll be able to speak and say, I was that person just a few years ago, and now look what I've achieved. So that's another reason why it's really important to have a niche, is because it also builds brand and authority and all that good stuff that will contribute to your overall success levels. So more questions you can ask about your avatar is, what are they struggling with? What are their main worries, woes, things that hold them back, thoughts they believe? What are they struggling with? Where do they really want to be? Where do they want to be 5 years, 10 years from now? What would make them feel like they were really transforming as a person? Get this stuff out, write it down, type it out. You definitely want to have all these avatar things nailed down. And if you've got an existing warm audience, you can even do a survey. So say you've got an email list of 10,000 people, you can put together a survey on Woofu forums, ask them some questions. What are you struggling with? What kind of knowledge do you need? How can I help you? This is another key way to do some great audience research as well. As if you have a warm audience already, use them. These are some key ways to really drill down at your ideal avatar. Another key way is to even call some people. So with some clients I've worked with, they've done an experiment of calling like 100 or so people on their email list, like on the phone, and being like, hey, do you have a couple minutes for us to chat? It's a quick and easy way to figure out what are your people struggling with and how can I really help them, and how can I speak a language that they're going to understand. I hope this video has been helpful. I hope it's gotten you to think more about how important niche is, how to find a niche, and how to market accordingly. If you've got any questions, comments, put them below and I would be more than happy to answer them and to be of value to you. Until next week, I will sign off for now and have an incredible day.